Good morning, children. Today we are going to discuss the lesson 3, that is the little girl. Before you read, there are certain points on which we should ponder. Do you feel you know your parents better now than when you were much younger? Perhaps you now understand the reasons for some of their actions that used to upset you earlier. This is true with every one of us. We are unable to understand what our parents tell us when we are young. This is a story about a little girl whose feelings for her father change from fear to understanding will probably find an echo in every home. Now you see the lesson. To the little girl, he was a figure to be feared. He was a figure to be feared. He means father. A figure to be feared means a person to be feared and avoided. Every morning before going to work, he came into her room and gave her a casual kiss, to which she responded with, "Goodbye, father." And oh, there was a glad sense of relief when she heard the noise of the carriage growing fainter and fainter down the long road. It is clear to you, the child or the little girl felt relief when her father went out of the house, because her father was a figure to be feared. In the evening, when he came, means father came home, she stood near the staircase and heard his loud voice in the hall. "Bring my tea into the drawing room. Has not the paper come yet? Mother, go and see if my paper's out there, and bring me my slippers," her father told. Kezia, the name of the little girl, is Kezia. Remember this? Mother would call to her, "If you are a good girl, you can come down and take off father's boots." Slowly the girl would slip down, come down quietly and unwillingly the stairs, more slowly still cross the hall and push open the drawing room door. By that time, he had his spectacles on and looked at her over them in a way that was terrifying to the little girl. "Well, Kezia, hurry up and pull off these boots and take them outside. Have you been a good girl today?" In a state of fear, the girl answers, "I don't know, father." "You Dada don't know. If you stutter, stutter is stammering. If you stutter like that, mother will have to take you to the doctor. She never stuttered with other people. She stuttered or stammered only with her father because he was a person to be feared. Had quite given it up. Given it up means stop doing it. But only with father because then she was trying to so hard to say the words properly. What is the matter? What are you looking so raised about? Raised means unhappy about. Mother, I wish you taught this child not to appear on the brink of suicide. This is about to commit suicide. Here, Kezia, carry my teacup back to the table carefully. He was so big, his hands and his neck, especially his mouth, when he yawned. Thinking about him alone was like thinking about a giant. This was the feeling of the little girl Kezia about her father. On Sunday afternoons, grandmother sent her down to the drawing room to have a nice talk with father and mother. But the little girl always found mother reading and father stretched out on the sofa, his handkerchief on his face, his feet on one of the best cushions, sleeping soundly and snoring. She sat on a stool, gravely, seriously, watched him until he woke and stretched, and asked the time, then looked at her. Don't stare so, Craigia. You look like a little brown owl, told father. One day, when she was kept indoors with a cold, her grandmother told her that father's birthday was next week and suggested she should make him a pincushion for a gift out of a beautiful piece of yellow silk. Children, remember this word pincushion. Grandmother suggested Kezia to prepare a pincushion for a gift to her father on the occasion of his birthday. Laboriously, with a double cotton, laboriously means with a lot of effort or difficulty, with a double cotton. The little girl stitched three sides, but what to fill it with? That was the question. The grandmother was out in the garden and she wandered into mother's bedroom to look for scraps. Scraps are small pieces or cloth or paper, etc., that are not needed. On the bed table, she discovered a great many sheets of fine paper, gathered them up, tore them into tiny pieces, and stuffed her case. Then she sewed up the fourth side. In this way, she prepared a pincushion. That night there was a hue. and cry in the house. Hue and cry means angry protest. Father's great speech for the port authority had been lost. Rooms were searched. Servants questioned. Finally, mother came into Kejia's room. Oh, yes, she said. I tore them up for my surprise. What is surprise? Surprise is pincushion. What had she torn? She had torn the fine papers of father, which she had stuffed in her pincushion. What? Screamed mother. Come straight down to the dining room. This instant, at once. And she was dragged down to where father was, pacing to and fro, hands behind his back. Well, he said sharply. Mother explained. He stopped and stared at the child. Did you do that? No, 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 she whispered. Mother, go up to her room and face down the damn thing. See that the child's put to bed this instant. Crying too much to explain. She lay in the shadowed room, watching the evening light make a sad little pattern on the floor. Then father came into the room with a ruler in his hands. I am going to beat you for this, he said. Oh, no, no, she screamed, hiding under the bedclothes. She pulled them aside. Sit up, he ordered, and hold out your hand. You must be taught once and for all not to touch what does not belong to you. But it was for your birthday, the child told. She was preparing a pincushion for gift on birthday of her father. Down came the ruler on her little pink palms. Hours later, when grandmother had wrapped her in a shawl and rocked her in the rocking chair, the child clung to her soft body. Clung means held tightly to her soft body. What did God make fathers for? She sobbed. Here is a clean hanky, darling. Blow your nose. Go to sleep, pet. You will forget all about it in the morning. I tried to explain to father, but he was too upset to listen tonight. But the child never forgot. Next time she saw him, she quickly put both hands behind her back and a red color flew into her cheeks. Then McDonald's lived next door. This is the story of McDonald's, who were neighbors of Kezia. Uh, they had five children. McDonald's, husband and wife, and they had five children. Looking through a gap in the fence, the little girl saw, means Kezia saw, them playing tag in the evening. Tag is a children's game of catching one another. The father with the baby, Mao, on his shoulders, Two little girls hanging on to his coat pockets ran round and round the flower beds, shaking with laughter. Once she saw the boys turn the hose, that is hose water pipe, on him, and he tried to catch them laughing all the time. Then it was he decided there were different sorts of fathers. Kezia thought her father was cruel, but McDonald's are very kind to his. MacDonald was very kind to his children. Suddenly one day, mother became ill, and she and grandmother went to hospital. The little girl was left alone in the house with Elise, the cook. That was all right in the daytime. But while Elise was putting, who is Elise? This is the name of the cook. Elise was putting her to bed. She grew suddenly afraid. Why was Kezia afraid? Because she had no habit to sleep alone. What will I do if I have a nightmare, a bad dream? She asked. I often have nightmares, and then Granny takes me into her bed. Granny is grandmother. I cannot stay in the dark. It all gets whispery. Means whispery is full of whispers. You just go to sleep, child, said Elise, pulling off her socks, and don't you scream and wake your poor pa. But the same old night came. The butcher with a knife and a rope who came nearer and nearer. This is the dream or nightmare of the child. She saw a butcher with a knife and a rope, and who came nearer and nearer to Kezia, smiling that dreadful smile, while she could not move, could only stand still, crying out, Grandma, Grandma! She woke, shivering to see father beside her bed, a candle in his hand. When Kezia cried in her sleep, father heard it, understood that Kezia is alone, so he came near her bed and asked, What is the matter? He said. Oh, a butcher, a knife. I want Granny. Granny is grandmother. He blew out the candle. He extinguished the candle, bent down and caught up the child in his arms, carrying her along the passage to the big bedroom. A newspaper was on the bed. He put away the paper, then carefully tucked up is covered up nicely in bed. The child, he lay down beside her, half asleep still with the butcher's smile all about her, it seemed. She crept close to him. This is very important. This line is very important for you. Kezia crept close to her father, snuggled, moved into a warm, comfortable position close to another person, her head under his arm, held tightly to his shirt. Then the dark did not matter. She lay still. Here, rub your feet against my legs and get them warm, said father, tired out. He slept before the little girl. A funny feeling came over her. Poor father, not so big after all, and with no one to look after him, he was harder than grandmother, but it was a nice hardness. And every day he had to work and was too tired to be a Mr. MacDonald. He had torn up all his beautiful writing. She stirred, moved suddenly, and sighed. What is the matter? Asked her father. Another dream. Oh, said the little girl, my head's on your heart. I can hear it going. What a big heart you have got, father dear. In the last, you see, Kezia understood that her father was hard externally, but internally he had a soft heart. Thank you. You listen again and again this lesson, read again and again this lesson so that you may understand the lesson in a well manner. Thank you.